So I think we're just going to have to deal with it. All right. We're dealing with it.
We're live.
Hi, we are live. Goodness, we are going to adjust a couple of things here. Bear with us.
Unfiltered,
Yes.
and unscripted.
And unscripted. We are brought to you by the Law Unscripted. But we weren't doing the Law Unscripted. But anyway, hi. Welcome, everybody. I'm Virginia Tehrani.
And I'm Chelsey Rogers.
And we're with Tehrani Law, LLC, because you never need a lawyer.
So you do.
And today we're on the Legal Weekly Wine. So welcome, everybody.
We have 4 people.
Hello, everybody. Not sure who's logged in. I don't know that I can actually see you, but we're trying to run on the side so that we can actually see comments coming in, etc. So we'll see how this goes. We cover on the Legal Weekly Wine, we cover the week's hottest legal topics. And today we're going live because we weren't sure what to expect for the 2 hottest topics of the week.
We gave a little bit of a preview yesterday.
Teaser.
So an unlikely duo. We have some news on Gwyneth Paltrow and Trump.
Not together, mind you.
No.
Just
no,
the 2 stories.
That
would be a really big headline. Announcing. Yeah, no, not quite that. So it's them individually, not together, as headlines. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely.
Because Trump has been at the grand jury, or I guess he hasn't.
I was about to say, whoa, did he have a guest appearance?
No, he was
actually. Can you just show up and be like, I know this is about me, guys?
You can't just show up, but he was invited.
He was invited.
Lots to talk about.
Intentionally consumed any media on this instead of consuming the congressional hearings about TikTok. Excuse me, sir, does a TikTok connect to your Wi-Fi? Was an actual question asked by one of our dedicated public servants.
Esteemed Congress people. Yes. Yes, on to we probably should include that at the end a little bit.
We have our jokes about it.
So. I know, it's really bad. But yeah, so we have at least have the those 2/3 topics. We'll throw in the TikTok as a special at the end.
Good.
But we are going to discuss the Trump grand jury that's happening. It is currently March 24th. For those of you who are tuning in or don't know, it is March 24th, Friday for happy hour. It is 4 p.m. Normally we post Eastern Standard Time. We normally post these at 4 on Friday, but usually record them a little bit earlier. Today we're just doing it live.
I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
That means no edits. You just never know what I'm going to say.
My husband is really concerned about the no edits. He really appreciates that we edit these.
I mean, that's really to be fair. I mean, I get it, but also
he's not concerned about you. I mean, me.
I know, he is.
It's about you.
I think you just are very brave because you never.
I am a little brave.
I don't know what I'm gonna say, and you definitely don't know what I'm gonna say. It just comes directly. But you're a wine connoisseur out of the 2 of us here. So what wine are we drinking today?
Yeah, because I'm such a connoisseur. I just like wine. So today, because it is the weekly wine, for those of you who haven't joined us and those who have and are just wondering what our wine is. So each week we do a different wine. This week we are doing another red. So we are doing a 1924 double black limited edition.
Ooh.
We've got a little fancy today. I'm not
fancy.
Yeah, my husband Eric chose the wine today. So it's a Cabernet. And let's see what they say about it. 1924, the heart of the Prohibition era and wine's darkest hour. Wow, that's kind of cool. Very exciting.
I'm excited.
I mean, just even the
darkest hour.
Right? This is one of the best wine bottles I've ever read. It was also the year our winery first planted vineyards in California.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, but no, we're being very fancy today. We also have like fancy wine glasses and our fancy shirts.
I know we do. Yes, so we did get our shirts, and I have such long hair now. I need to cut it. But we have our Tehrani Law shirts. Since purple is our theme, we got it in purple for Tehrani Law. So we're sporting them now in our but yeah, so we've got that and our glasses. So you're right. So
fancy glasses.
We're usually at a bar table.
Like I'm like Vanna writing it.
Yes. We have the wine glass. So yeah, I actually just today came from a meeting with Paula Ross, who's the chairman, president, I don't know her actual title, CEO, president of the Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce. It's a tongue twister. Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce.
They need to like rework that. Can we get a marketing intern on that?
It is Gaithersburg is the community and Germantown is the community, so they joined them together, and the two cities are.
And like it sounds like it should be alliteration, and I think probably technically is, but like it's not, right?
I know, but it's a great chamber. I'm in the chamber, and Paula gave me the wine glasses today with the GGCC logo.
Okay, I do like GGCC. It has a like, you know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, so this is horrible, but I mean, it's kind of cool. My son is learning DNA right now, right? And there's the strands where A connects with T and C connects with G. So I kind of feel like
Are we DNA stranding?
We are DNA stranding today.
We are
our lovely wine glasses. Yes, brought to you by 19. Yeah, so we're gonna taste some wine and then actually get to Trump and Gwyneth Paltrow.
So I'm not allowed to touch the wine bottles. So Virginia will be pouring for the both of us. I have a very strong warning, so that I don't spill the wine, which is a fair warning to be honest. But I don't touch the wine bottle when it's near us.
It's so close to all of our electronic equipment. That Chelsey, we just aren't sure. So I am
scared to get as close to all of it myself.
So I'm going to put this here for the moment. It's kind of in the middle of us, so I'll probably move it in a sec. But for our camera, yeah, there we go. So there's the bottle. That's what we're drinking. Grab a glass of wine or some beer or whatever is your favorite for, there we go, we'll put it in the back. Some shots, whatever is your favorite for happy hour, because it is happy hour. And cheers to our first live session.
I tried not to do it, but then I did it.
She can't help it. I hope you all heard the gulp because there's no edits out of it.
Okay, but that's the thing. I don't know why. For some reason, as soon as I think about swallowing wine, it's like my throat.
You get that frog in your throat.
I'm like, trying to swallow it down. And then it's only here though. I don't know. I don't have a problem drinking anywhere else, but
she has a drinking problem. Is that what you're saying?
I am in law school.
There is that. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that I've got my live going on my own phone. So y'all, this is truly like the first time I have ever
also pop up here, I think.
Oh no, I don't think they are, because we've got
my mom.
We have Chelsea's mom and love the purple shirts. Thanks, Mom. Thank you very much. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so we can at least, yes. I can't see them for some reason on my computer, but I can see this. Oh, did it go away? We're trying. We can at least see them on something. Well, Rebecca Hatmaker. So excited for this live stream. Us too. Yes. My sister, twin and chief operating officer of the business.
Oh, I just had someone else.
Honestly.
Look, we're getting.
Oh, yay. Did you send it to me?
Yes.
Okay. Send them the link.
I'm rudely on my phone and making sure my people are on the link.
No, it's totally good. So I think.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Virginia, I have some questions. Are we going to do Gwyneth first or Trump first?
I think we need to do Trump first.
Oh my God, good, because I have no idea what's happening.
I mean, I don't know. Do we do Trump first, and then as more people join, they're going to be more interested in Trump or Paltrow? Maybe we'll do Paltrow first.
Okay.
You're really excited about Trump, though.
Because I know what's happening.
Uh-huh.
And every news article seems to think a different thing is happening.
That's true.
And even though I am in law school and we're supposed to know how to research, like the first page of Google can't agree what's going on, and so I have no clue.
I just have some idea.
Okay, great.
Now I will refer people to the Legal Eagle. Normally I don't. This is kind of weird for me. I like the Legal Eagle. I love what he does. I'm kind of jealous of what he does. He's really amazing.
Who is he? What does he do?
Do you really not know?
I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, wow. So the Legal Eagle is an amazing, let's see, this is the whole
We're getting
thing okay, so the Legal Eagle, what I should tell you, the Legal Eagle is an attorney who is huge on YouTube.
Oh,
Huge. You know, there are the TikTok stars, attorney stars, like Law by Mike. But he joins in with the Legal Eagle.
wow.
They cross-purpose themselves. It's cross-promote and purpose themselves. It's really quite fun. So he does that. But he's really well known for his great graphics and editing. And he does a lot of the commentary on movies and TV shows. Where he'll say, you know, how real is this? And then talk about law. Give me just a second, everybody. And that camera is off of where it's supposed to be. Okay, so we're doing, let me see. Like it's just me versus Chelsey. No, it's not. Okay. Anyway, we're fixing some things.
So he's Legal Eagle who does what I hate, because even though I'm almost done with law school, honestly, it's like 5 weeks, which makes me want to throw up a little bit. But I love living in delusion, and I just want to watch my Law and Order SVU. I want to watch Criminal Minds and pretend like it's accurate. I don't want to know the spoilers, even though, like, obviously I know them. I would prefer not to.
Yeah, he's great though. He takes I love the one he does about our favorite we were just talking about it last week. The one where she
My Cousin Vinny.
Yes, My Cousin Vinny. God, I can't think. Yes.
Brainwaves.
You said
that one we talked about in G. That was the one I had to go on. Somebody the other day. Okay.
This is, we really need to know what she's going to say.
You see her like scared face. It's not a scary thing. Okay. So like, obviously, I've seen Legally Blonde. Who has not seen Legally Blonde?
Yes.
And if you are a woman and exist in the world, you get dumb comments sometimes. And someone was like, have you ever seen Legally Blonde? I deadpan went to his face and was like, no, what's it about? And he was like, really? And then proceeded to tell me the whole plot of the movie.
Oh, God.
Wow. Surprise. Check it out. Come on. Look what I look like. Of course I've seen Legally Blonde.
I'm in law school and this is what I look like.
Be for real.
Yes. So that's what he does. For real legal issues, Legal Eagle he doesn't just do those, but he's really good about doing legal topics, etc. So what we are trying to do, I'm going to try to turn my sound up there, because again, we've got different sounds going on the computer, which you guys are watching from, versus our normal sound system. So
we'll just be really loud.
Just yell at each other.
Project, right? Your theater voice. I did high school theater. I'm ready.
All right. So still trying to work this. Trying to try to work on here. So Chelsey, I don't think it's the closer. I think it's the mic. So Chelsey, why don't you while we're doing this,
practice my stand-up comedy routine?
Practice that, or give us a little idea of what you think is happening.
With great. So, and we did do a little bit. Most of my knowledge comes from our little teaser yesterday, but my understanding is that he's being investigated in relation to, we're going all the way back to like 2016, the whole like Stormy Daniels scandal. Apparently, Trump's attorney has already like admitted to making payments to her for perhaps services provided, unclear. But my understanding is that in New York right now, they've convened this grand jury to do an investigation. We don't know what charges, if any, will be filed.
Correct.
But it's in relation to where these funds came from, how they were reported. So possibly some campaign finance issues, and possibly like inaccurately reporting business records. Fraud is the word for that. It came later, but it was.
That's okay. I couldn't talk about other things either. So let's do a quick sound check.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not sure if this has helped at all.
All right, let's see if we're having sound issues.
Yeah. Anyone who's in the chat, again, sorry, this truly is our first time going live, so just bear with us because our sound is good in our normal mic set, but I'm using my computer. We tried to use our phone. It wouldn't log in on our phone. Oh God.
Oh no.
So, and of course it's because it's my computer, all these other apps are popping up, but we are working on it.
It's spicy. It's fun.
Yeah. So anyway, again, just bear with us. So
We're
sorry.
doing our best.
We are trying, but yeah, so that's what's happening. And we really don't know what's going on with the
volume.
volume
Okay,
here.
perfect.
And
We will just keep on and carry on. And if it's really bad, we've recorded it on the normal sound system, so you can chill with us then.
Yeah, we're gonna try. But I've even got it on the right sound input. I'm not entirely sure. So I think. Oh, goodness.
Okay, we're good. It went away.
Are you sure?
Yes, I was scared for a second. No, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know because I can see. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. I really am sorry. Troubleshoot. No. I'm really not too good on
Reading our
this.
comments. Okay, let's
reading comments, see what other people are saying as far as the
okay,
sound.
we got somebody in the comments saying I plead the fifth. So that's great. Love to see it.
Okay, that's always a good start. People are learning.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mom. I'm not stressed. Virginia is. I'm just here, rocking and rolling.
Yeah, and try to make sure it's not like plugged into some kind of Wi-Fi or
we just let it go. And if they're clearly hearing us. It might not be well, but they're hearing
somebody's hearing us at least.
Choose
where to play this.
Right. Eric said just keep going. So look.
Okay.
Got the big man upstairs telling
All
us
right.
we're gonna keep rocking and rolling.
Okay, we're just gonna try to talk loudly and not drown ourselves
Which is
out.
clearly a problem for me.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to rise to the occasion of speaking loudly.
All right. So at least Rebecca says it sounds good on YouTube. So
beautiful.
We're going to go with that.
Okay.
We're going to stick with that and keep going and talk about Stormy Daniels.
So,
yes.
Okay. So here are my initial questions after my brief summary.
And I'll try to keep looking ahead. It's weird to look at the camera instead of at you.
I know I'm looking at camera.
But I think that'll at least help with this sound.
Okay.
So sorry. I'll look at camera you.
I'm like fucking myself up. It's not even that funny.
Not yet.
So what's happening with Trump? I think it's really unconventional, to say the least, that prior to any charges being announced and or filed, that he just says, I'm getting arrested on Tuesday.
That is unconventional.
Is it unconventional?
It is.
Great.
It's extremely unconventional. So
I think it's my move, though. If I was ever to be investigated by a grand jury, I'm just going to be like, hello, press tour, coming with me to get arrested, vlogging.
But that's after you've been indicted. Not before.
Me, I don't know if someone's investigating me.
Exactly. So we're going to go back to the beginning. And as people join, if we need to do some recaps, we will. But the big question is, what is a grand jury, right? That is what people keep asking me all the time. Do you?
Yes,
do you really?
I actually do.
Okay, try it.
So the grand jury is like a trial, but not like when it's presented, because the only prosecution gets to present evidence. So the defense doesn't get to come. So they're like, this looks so bad, and then gives no other room for poking holes in the story, right?
Sort of. Okay, what does it do?
They decide whether or not to indict somebody, right?
But what's an indictment?
We've done this before, and I didn't know the answer.
It's kind of basic. So you're in law school. Okay. So why don't they just arrest them?
Because they need evidence. They need probable cause, right?
But isn't that what you do an arrest for?
You have to have probable cause to make an arrest.
Okay, so yeah,
right?
Yes. But it's both, right? An arrest is also probable cause. You need probable cause for an arrest. An indictment gives an arrest warrant.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because it's the whole Fourth Amendment thing where they're like, to be arrested, you have to have a warrant except for every exception under the sun. Right?
Right. So there are a couple of ways that charges can go against somebody. So there's the normal arrest, right? Just run-of-the-mill traffic stop, something happens, you see drugs, you pick somebody up. That's an arrest. It's based on probable cause that a crime has been committed. But it's not necessarily something that's been investigated for a long time.
Right.
Where in this case, and Patrick's time, I see you. So thank you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hello. The question that he's raising is, what crime did Trump commit? That's a good question. I don't know.
They're saying
it hasn't been announced. So what's happening with the grand jury, and this is why the grand jury is secret. So unlike an arrest where you go out and you just arrest somebody and people can find out you're arrested that day, what they've done is the grand jury sits all the time. This is not a new procedure. This is not a new system. This isn't a new grand jury. But each time a grand jury is sat and they serve their time, they're presented so many possible indictments or list of charges against so many people, and the grand jury gets to decide whether there's probable cause that that person or those people have committed a crime. We don't know what crimes those are. They're not published until after the jury has returned an indictment, and only if a jury has returned an indictment. So the indictment would be the formal paperwork saying that there's probable cause that someone has committed the following crime or crimes, and then those crimes would be listed out. There are some possibilities of what those crimes would be, including some kind of campaign financing, election fraud, business documents, records, frauds.
But wait, to clarify, because all of that is not coming from the grand jury people.
It's not.
For average citizens.
They're not supposed to. It's not coming from them because they're sworn to secrecy.
And it's not coming from the DA either. The DA is not like, hey, this is what we're doing, because that would be a nightmare.
He's also sworn to secrecy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not so.
Maybe
okay.
This is why.
And this is why we're talking about the grand juries. People don't know.
No, I thought he was just, being a class act. I didn't know he was sworn to secrecy.
He can't. You cannot talk about
stuff, right?
Everybody and all these. Look, there's these confidential sources. Who is doing it? Because I'll tell you, it's not the prosecutor's office, or it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the grand jurors.
I love the idea of a scandal. I love it. I'm sorry. I would love it if it's one of the jurors, but obviously it's not supposed to be. But what we're talking about, sort of these talking head people like us right now, are the people who are saying this is probably the charges that they are contemplating, right?
Right. We're guessing, but the way that we're guessing is based on the witnesses that are being called.
Yeah.
So we know which witnesses are being called, or at least we know some of the witnesses that are being called to testify to the grand jury. And it's my guess that these witnesses are the ones talking.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's my guess is they're not supposed to. Okay, they're not supposed to. They are also sworn to secrecy.
Can they get contempt? No. What can they be?
They could be. So grand jury proceedings are secret. They're in secret. The whole purpose of them to be secret, because it is not a trial. It is a mini trial. We call it that because evidence is presented, and it's presented like a trial. It is. It's only the prosecution, because the only finding is probable cause or not. And the grand jury doesn't have to find probable cause. They can.
Can you imagine if we had to do this for every arrest? I'm sorry. Can you just imagine every DUI? And they were like, hold on, we pulled you over, but let's get the grand jury to hear it.
So,
Agent of Chaos approves. I think that's a great way to handle it.
It's awful. I
think it's so funny.
Lack of efficiency.
That's true.
I'm going to have another drink.
I just think, let's get 12 of my peers here to see what they think about the situation before we proceed. I love that idea.
That's great.
That way we can.
Chelsea's in her own republic.
Yes.
It's okay. We're
Queen for a day.
For you. Okay, so the grand jury is presented the way that it works, and it's not, again, it's not new. It's not like all of a sudden there are these secret proceedings that are happening just because of Trump, or secret proceedings. It's secret proceedings that nobody thinks about normally because they happen all the time.
And you don't have a former
For
president
years.
like not tweeting, but getting on whatever weird social thing he has going on. And I'm going to be arrested, which then didn't happen. But now we've had this big sort of like fluster storm coming from that. But what do we actually know? Aside from the fact that there is a grand jury investigating something that it has something to do with Trump, that's it that we actually know, right?
Well, I don't think that that's the only thing we actually know.
Okay.
We do know how grand juries work, and I do want to continue down some of that. So no. So it makes more sense overall as to what we know and why we know.
That makes sense. Yeah.
We know some of the witnesses who have been called.
Okay, who?
We know that Trump's prior attorney has been called. And for those of you who have some background, Trump's prior attorney has already been convicted of crimes related to this incident. So a lot of people in the media are saying, well, he's not a great witness because he's a witness who's already a felon and has an interest in testifying that it's somebody else's fault. But from what we also know is when he testified previously, not in the grand jury, but outside of the grand jury and in front of Congress, he already was throwing Trump under the bus. Not sure if it's true. I don't know. I don't know the truth of it. What I do know is a jury, or at least I can't remember if it was a jury. I think it was a plea. I think he pled to criminal charges. So I can't say it was a jury found him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Of law, he is guilty.
In a court of law, he is guilty of crimes related to the Stormy Daniels incident, where Stormy Daniels was paid out. The attorney has said, I paid her $130,000 as hush money, not to talk about her affair with Donald Trump before the election. She has said,
that worked so well.
Right?
Great job. Killed it.
She confirmed.
That's a low amount of money. I'm sorry, I'm taking us so off track. That's a low amount of money.
Are
you kidding me? I feel like with as much of a scandal, why did they lowball her like that?
It is a good question.
That's a really low amount of money. I feel like
it is.
I mean, not generally, but like in this context, it's a really low amount. She should have come back and been like $2 million.
She really should have negotiated better, right?
That's what I'm saying. But
higher price of crime. Raise your standards.
And if she had, we wouldn't be.
I don't know. She's testified about it, right? So she's said about it. She's come out saying that this was the amount. She's confirmed that it was 130. So it's kind of a convoluted story as to what happened to the 130,000. As the attorney has testified that, and again, this is not grand jury testimony. I do not know what has been testified at the grand jury. No one is ever supposed to know. It is secret information that is not given even to the trial court, the real trial court. It does not move with the case. It does not go with the case. It is secret, and you cannot be convicted on it. So whatever he has told the grand jury might be the same information. It might be additional information. But at least the information that he has previously given in testimony before Congress, before other people in the trial and case that he had for himself, the evidence that seems to be coming out that he claims is that he took a drawdown on, I think, his HELOC to pay. So HELOC, sorry, I'm getting comments. But not on YouTube. So anyway, I think he took money. He took down from his HELOC, paid her this money, and then Trump was supposed to pay him back.
I think that's yes.
And I believe he did pay him back. But the question is, how did he pay him back, and how was it recorded? Was it recorded as a tax write-off? Was it recorded as a loan? The understanding that seems to be middle of the line that people seem to be confirming is that it was not listed properly. However, it was listed on tax documents, business documents, state filings, whatever it was, that it was improperly claimed as legal services.
Oh, so well, okay. So we're saying that like his attorney paid him, and it was like, hey, you owe me back that money, and he was like, yes, I'm just paying my attorney for normal legal services.
That's what I think.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so funny.
That's what I
It's like
think.
what a cartoon character would do, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it that way as an attorney or accept it that way. But yeah, from what the records,
I'm Venmoing everyone from now on.
we're not falsifying any records because there are none.
For your legal services provided. Here's the Venmo back from lunch.
You would do it that way. We are truly not trying to say how you should commit a crime, just how it shouldn't.
Oh
be
no,
done,
I would be
right?
a terrible criminal because I could keep my mouth shut. So don't take criminal advice from me.
Truly don't. It's going to be terrible.
You'll get caught so quick.
Yeah.
So I'm
Just
drumming up
turn
business.
yourself in.
So I'm drumming a business for my first
Yes,
future
we're gonna
career.
get criminals. We will have legal representation. And they'll find
Look, securing closed bar jobs, right?
Yes, for sure. Securing our futures. I think he listed it as legal services,
Okay.
so it was money that allegedly was being spent for legal services rather than repayment for a loan. Spent much money, but we believe that it's surrounding this incident because of the witnesses that have been testifying.
But as of right now, there have been. Do we know if the grand jury's done? Do we
No.
know?
And we're not supposed to. The only time we are going to know if something has been done, there are going to be 2 times. Okay. 3.
Okay.
One is they stop the grand jury, like it stops in session, right? Grand juries only have so much time.
Okay, so I think that was my first question, is that they're currently, that has not happened.
Correct.
Okay.
So they're still in session.
Okay.
They just didn't meet. It's Friday, and they didn't meet today.
Lucky grand jurors get a Friday off.
Okay. No, you do not understand. Grand jury, I would rather be sat in a regular jury than a grand jury because the time commitment is so much more extreme. They meet like Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of every week for as long as their session goes, which is months sometimes.
Yikes.
In Newport News, Virginia, it was like 6 months at a time, and you would come in. So it's not like this is.
They can have.
Okay. So in Manhattan, I think it's 3 days a week. I think it's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday is their normal times to meet, and they consider not just Trump, but all of the possible indictments for all of Manhattan for this session that they're in, unless it's a special grand jury, a special investigative grand jury. And I honestly don't know in this one. I think it's the regular grand jury that's in their regular session reviewing their normal everything that comes through, rather than just everybody dropped everything and is only apparently prosecuting Trump on a Friday, the 24th. I don't think that's what's happening. A normal defendant, unless they've gone and from lower court into upper court and it's traveling with an indictment. Okay, so like in Newport News, Virginia, where I was prosecuting, you would, if you were charged with a felony and you went through district court, there would be a probable cause finding at a preliminary hearing, and then your case would go up to circuit court.
Okay.
But in order to get officially into circuit court, an indictment would have to still be presented to the grand jury. And the grand jury sitting and during that session would then approve or not approve the probable cause for that particular crime. And then it would be. So those defendants, they know, right? They know they were already, probable cause was already found during preliminary hearing. An indictment's coming down. Well, no joke. Yeah, I mean, right. Okay. I know it's coming down because I had the hearing, but
time to flee the country.
Right? But for the ones that please don't take any kind of advice from Chelsey. This is not legal advice.
Entertaining, so don't take.
Yeah, please don't take legal advice. But
okay, so that's the first way.
So that's the first way. Is the first way you would know if something has happened in the grand jury is you would be a defendant already from a lower court going into an upper court. For you to have a trial by jury, you have to have an indictment in an upper court or be on appeal from a lower court. So that's one way you would know. All right. That hasn't happened. He wasn't arrested and sent
Right.
through a lower court proceeding.
Okay.
What they are choosing to do is just have a grand jury look at Trump just at the higher court level. So instead of going into a lower court, having a preliminary hearing, and then going into an upper court, it's just straight into the upper court.
Okay.
By having basically a preliminary hearing, but in front of a grand jury.
Okay.
So there's still a probable cause hearing, but it's in a grand jury. And they do this so that if they're doing, especially in cases like Trump's, where if they're doing a special investigation for a special particular type of person, a particular person, or a longer investigation, that is continuing and they can have it outside of the public.
Okay.
This is not new. This is not something they just convened for the first time in America's founding to do for Trump. Okay. It is normal proceedings. So the reason we would know if they had decided or not, if that grand jury is just no longer sat because it's their term is done and no decision was made.
Right. And so all of the headlines would then be grand jury
no indictment,
not to indict.
No true bill is how it's written.
Okay.
Is no true bill. Or if an indictment is decided, then it will be, they would mark it as a true bill. And then it would be published as here's the indictment because here's the arrest warrant.
Right.
Here's the indictment of the charges. Here are the actual charges that have been indicted. And now because of it, they have to do an arrest warrant.
Okay.
So we're going to know if it's happened or not.
But so right now, grand jury is still in their session. They have not concluded. An indictment has not come through. So we just don't know. We've just got to wait it out.
We assume that it hasn't been decided. Because most people's assumptions is that they will find a true bill, that they will issue an indictment. And here's why.
Okay, but here's my, can I ask one question? How does he know about this then?
Because
the witnesses were like,
hey, witnesses.
Hey, dude, they're looking into you.
The witnesses are telling him. A lot of people don't know that they're being investigated because the witnesses are granted immunity, and they're granted certain, protections that their testimony is not going to be disclosed. So in order to get them down, I don't know which other witnesses have been called, but the Commonwealth attorney, the state's attorney, the district attorney, whatever the name is for each jurisdiction, calls up the witness and says, hey, Joe Smith, this is the prosecutor, and you've got to come down here. I'm sending you a subpoena because you're going to have to, but they're given information of your testimony will not, this will be secret proceedings. We're not going to announce to anyone that you're coming here. You don't have to tell anyone that you're coming here. So the secrecy, they're given assurances of the secrecy of this investigative review.
And clearly one of the deals wasn't good enough because someone tipped him off, right?
Someone tipped him off, and here's the other possibility. Okay. I believe that the DA's office actually invited Trump to come and testify.
Okay.
And sometimes in a grand jury proceeding, the prosecutor will invite the defendant or they're not defendants because they're not technically charged, but the target of the investigation.
Oh, that sounds worse.
They'll invite them in to testify on their own behalf.
That sounds so nice. We're just going to invite you. That's right. So lethal. We're going to invite you. We're going to invite you to testify. And it's really like we're going to invite you to be interrogated.
But yes, but they're given more leeway. Okay. They're given more leeway in a grand jury to make additional comments and to say things on their own behalf. And the grand jury, and it doesn't, but they're given that option, right?
We talk about this all the time. That's what I'm saying. It sounds so nice. Hey, just come down. We're inviting you to testify. Tell us your story. But in reality, it's like, oh, we're about to get him.
And the defense attorney is not allowed to be there. So it's only the defense. It is a special proceeding, and you're looking at it like it's only Trump, and it's not. This happens all the time,
Honestly,
dear.
I'm shocked.
All
I
the
figure
time.
someone with as much money and power as he has can handle himself, but that's what my faces are about. The fact that this happens to normal people all the time, because it sounds truly like, hey, come tell your story. When really it's like, you're about to get got. Like that is
Well,
so
nobody
bad.
should. Let me tell you, nobody should. And if I had a client who was saying, wow, I've been invited down to a grand jury, are you the target of the grand jury or just a witness?
Or do they know that?
They can. Sometimes they will be told.
But sometimes not. Can you imagine how embarrassing that'd be? Like, I'm gonna go be a witness and
yeah, but he was invited to come testify and he declined. So now he knows there is a probe. And
he decides
he is
best next
making
move. Best
a
next
show
move.
of it.
Let me tell everybody I'm getting arrested.
He didn't have to tell anybody. Nobody had to know, but he chose to tell everybody because he puts it out in the media. That's what he does. And personally, I think he's hoping to rile people up for good or for bad. Whatever you think about
You can't have a free reign circus unless everybody's riled up.
So the only way people are knowing are through him or his witnesses, and now it's through him. And then, so even in New York, okay?
Yeah.
So in New York, it's not even probable cause for a grand jury.
What do you mean?
Reasonable cause.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure because I'm not in New York.
We just make up words and pretend like they have meanings. Like
I don't practice in New York. I'm in Maryland, Virginia, and DC. But I'll tell you, in Virginia, it was probable cause.
I mean, I think that, look, obviously, I'm not an expert, but all of the law school cases I've read, it's been probable cause.
It may be interpreted the same way. It may
New York
legally be the
same.
Yeah, they have the Supreme Court as their district court, which is weird and funky, and I'm not fit over.
I'm probably almost failed that year because I was trying to read these dumb cases from New York, and I was like, this is decided in the Supreme Court of the state, and it was like low key that's their trial court, right? And but I would read them and be like, what is that?
Yeah, so it may very well mean the same thing as probable cause. If anyone listening knows whether it's live or later in watching, if there's a true difference between reasonable and probable cause for a grand jury in New York versus what we normally think of as probable cause, let us know. But it is not a high standard. So I will say, I am going to give my opinion. I try to stay away from
You never do this. I'm rolling out. I'm so excited.
I'm going to give at least an opinion today.
Okay. I really have never been more excited in my life.
I talk about politics because it's the legal side. I like the legal aspect behind it. Yeah. And we try to focus on the legal side. So I try to stay out of politics. But as far as my opinion today that I am going to share, which I don't think is extremely political, but it might be seen that way just because of the opinion that it is I think Trump is he's using his words. Anybody who has not seen his words, he's really, like you were saying, I'm going to be indicted and arrested on Tuesday. Everybody come and protest. Today it's Friday. He was putting out really interesting pieces of commentary, statements of, there will be death and destruction.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah,
one.
Did you miss that one?
I'm not on the Walmart version of Facebook, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it's like death and destruction, and he's making a lot of comments. I'm generalizing them. But again, don't say things. But the comments that he's making have been, there's chaos in the district attorney's office. They're going to find out that, they shouldn't be doing this to me because I'm innocent. This shouldn't be happening to me because I'm innocent. All about the, everybody go and protest because I'm innocent. There will be death and destruction because you shouldn't be doing this to me because I'm innocent. Well, if you're that innocent, go testify. If that's how you feel about it.
I don't know what I expected you to say. You have shocked me for once. I don't know what I expected you to say, but it was not that.
If that's what you think, is that you can convince people that you are innocent
do it in a court of law.
Then why didn't you take yourself down to the grand jury and testify?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
No.
legally I agree that he shouldn't, because I don't think any defendant or possible defendant should. But as far as Trump is going, if he truly is incensed that wrong is happening, why is he asking all of America to go right or wrong when he can just do it?
Okay,
Go
see,
down.
this is my thing.
If you don't think they have enough evidence, then go down and tell them what evidence they're missing.
So I agree. I think it's a really strange thing for someone who has been a president of the country, is a very wealthy person, someone who's sort of in the, like, one of the demographics in our society that's treated the best in, like, the persecution complex.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're talking about people who are in New York who are getting the bad side of the justice system. I would put everything I put into my student loans and place it on a bet that it's not him. Right?
Here's the other thing. So, as a practitioner, as a lawyer, I'm going to make this second opinion that is very similar to the first. Okay, if you're indicted, you didn't testify in front of the grand jury, fine. Even if you had, the grand jury returns a reasonable cause indictment. Okay,
Right.
Go to trial. Use the justice system in America. America has a justice system. If you love America and think it's so great, then use the system we have.
Get in the courtroom and do it.
Go use the justice system to prove that you are not guilty. And maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't know one way or the other. I'm not listening to the testimony. I don't want to say one way or the other. It is very possible he's innocent, because I don't know what charges they are.
I guess,
and I don't know the evidence. But go do it in the normal court proceedings.
Right. And I think
that's my soapbox.
So glad you said it. And I think, honestly, I'm very critical of our judicial and legal system. Anybody who's tuned in for any of our episodes knows. And if it was anybody else, I think I might say, maybe fighting that fight in that room is not the best choice. But for him, you are rich, you are white, you are a former president. If anybody can really equally step foot into a courtroom, you think it would be someone like him. Yeah. Right? Like, you're not someone who, you have every advantage, right?
Right.
Truly anybody else, they might be like, oh, legal system's kind of, but
come on. He has as fair a shot as anybody else.
I truly think he can get, exactly, just like you said.
There will be 50% of people who hate him, 50% of people who love him. You put half of one and half, the one half and the other half both on the jury, and let them decide.
Right.
So that's my never mind about that.
No, I'm so glad. Look, I think it's the most hot take you've done. I love it.
Yeah, I get frustrated with regard to the legal system.
Join the club. Burn it down.
Right. Well, okay, so I'm going to make one more comment, and then we're going to need to get into Gwyneth Paltrow, because I hate to
our wellness queen.
But yes, our wellness queen. So I am going to. Chelsea's going to talk more about Gwyneth Paltrow.
And just be judgy. I mean, truly.
Okay, can I make one more opinion?
Yes, please do.
Okay, this isn't an actual opinion-y. I don't know. It's an opinion.
Okay. You're smart. All right. I make so many opinions, and I have not even practiced in a lot. Okay, you can say you have the expertise.
Okay, so this is what we're going to have to deal with next week. So if he gets indicted, and I don't know if he will, if he does, I don't think it's that big a deal. People get indicted every day, and they have a chance to fight it. And it doesn't mean he's guilty. It just means 12 or more people have found that there is reasonable cause that he might have committed this crime, whatever those crimes or that crime is.
Literally in every episode, that is a very low standard.
So to me, it's not that big a deal. But I mean, I wouldn't want to be indicted. Okay, so let's be honest. I mean, it's not just that I want it to happen. But gets indicted. If he gets indicted, the question, he will need to be processed. He doesn't have to be officially arrested in front of everybody and taken down.
Well,
he may have to get a mugshot because it's normal process, not because it's him, but because it's normal process. You get fingerprints, you get a mugshot.
Right. Do you want special treatment or do you?
Right. He may make a show of it. But the question to me,
okay,
and here's where the opinion part comes in, is normally I wouldn't think twice about giving him a personal recognizance bond.
Right. Well, okay, and we've talked about this, and the only reason I talk about this a lot is I took a whole class on plea bargaining, but we spent a lot of time talking about, the factors that would go into bail or bond, including ROI. What would you be thinking about? Because I have some thoughts.
He can thoughts. So yeah, normally I would say this, whatever these types of charges are, they're not violent. Whatever it is, it's not violent. It's not that he's a common criminal. It's not, we know where to find him kind of thing. But in his case, I think there are factors that the prosecution should raise. I don't know how a judge would rule on them, but the factors I would raise are his ability to flee with his money, with his planes, with his whatever, and with all of his continuing statements asking for people to do violence on his behalf and with him. That I would argue as a prosecutor, leave it up to the judge.
Yeah.
That maybe he shouldn't be given a bond in this particular case because maybe he's going to go and pull himself up in the compound. Right. Maybe he won't come back out. Maybe he will refuse to give himself up or refuse to come back to court.
Right.
Or maybe he will use his time outside to continue to rally support to incite violence based on these charges.
So this is funny, and never did I think I would find myself in this position. Let me be clear. I have a lot of feelings about Donald Trump, not a single one of them being positive. But just like you were saying, even if we take what he's been currently charged with, now I think the inciting violence is a different thing to me. He hasn't been charged, but what we think the charges are related to, sort of the business stuff, like essentially lying and fraud, is what it comes down to.
Most likely.
I know you're not gonna. If it was just that without the inciting violence, let's separate that. I would want him let out personal cognizance, and I also think even if he was found guilty of all of it, I don't think, for me, I'm like, this is something that's non-violent. Like, you shouldn't do it, but fine him or something. Like, I'm just not really incarcerating people for stuff like this, right? Like,
that's entirely possible. And one of the questions will be, and I just don't know, is what are the final charges, if any, indicted?
Right.
And for others in that position, in his similar position, what are the normal outcomes? Right. Is this something where it would be probation? All suspended time and probation with a fine? Maybe so. But that's not the question for bond.
No.
The question for bond is there a flight risk and is there a risk to the community if you're let out?
And I think if he would just shut up, the answer to those would be no. Correct. But he won't do that. Because we'll see what happens.
We'll see. So that's Donald Trump.
The most spicy you've gotten on the podcast. I love it.
Yeah. It's the legal system.
And
we're live, so maybe it's worse, maybe it's better.
I love it. Okay,
Gwyneth Paltrow. It is 4:54. Sorry, everybody. You can hop off if you need to. We'd love for you to stay, so that we can at least do a little bit of time on Gwyneth Paltrow.
Miss Garland, white suit in the courtroom.
Friend, yeah. Maybe she wanted to invoke snow.
Look, I like the white suit situation. No, and I hate this. This is so we're not passing the Bechdel test right now, right? So okay, I'm just talking about we're two women and we're talking about her appearance. I hate it for us, but I am going to talk about it still. Okay, love the white suit. Hate the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. They've got to go. Gotta go.
Yeah, I don't like this.
You look like you're military issued 40 years ago. I don't know what's happening, but she looks great.
Oh, she's pretty. She's real pretty.
But she is being sued.
Yes. She has been for years. This is 2016 incident.
Why are we talking about 2016 incidents today? Look at that. Twinsies.
That's how they relate.
That's it.
That's it. That's why they're on this podcast together
We
today.
just decided to throw it back to when I was still in
So
college.
2016. Yeah. So she was on a skiing trip in Utah, and what everyone's in agreement is that there was a collision between her and this retired optometrist.
See, I told you he was some sort of doctor situation. I think it's a dentist.
I did too. Yes, an optometrist. That they were,
You know, the things.
the thing. The professional.
Well, I guess that's a good defense of him that he definitely could save her. You know, we talk about.
Oh, you're hilarious. It's so bad.
Your Honor, he's an optometrist.
Nice. That's, you know what? That's a great defense, and she should use it.
Hey, I'm just saying, tag me in, coach.
It's a great option. Yeah. So there was this incident where they definitely collided. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that he had some injuries. At least that there were broken ribs.
Well, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a serious
like a bruise, right? Like that's a.
But if you're flying down the mountain on skis and you run into somebody, I mean, that's
I
an
just think
impact.
like that just makes me sad. Like, I don't know. I've never broken a bone somehow. You know how klutzy I am, but I've never broken a bone. I think it's because my mom like made me drink milk as a kid or something. Those campaigns got milk really worked on us.
It'll do you well for later in life fighting osteoporosis.
Okay, I'm gonna stop distracting us.
No, don't. It's hilarious. So yeah, this traffic collision on the ski course. This is what we do. For those of you who don't know us, we are. I do personal injury law, specifically traffic accidents, in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. And Chelsey's with us. She's our law student who's been interning with me for years now.
I know, wild.
And she's she's completely with the office, and she is a full podcaster with the Law Unscripted, which is hosting this. And when she passes the bar, she'll be an official attorney with our office.
Slay!
Speaking that into existence, as Chelsey says.
Her lips bounce ears. That's the plan.
So this is what we do, except I'm not normally on a ski slope. It's normally an actual traffic accident, but this is the same thing. It's the same concept, is who had right of way on the ski slopes.
Yes.
And who ran into whom.
So I only did one Google search on this because I figured you had the info. This is what I saw, and you can fill in the details here.
Okay.
So that they have people who are like testifying about skiing etiquette of who had what you're talking about, who has the right of way, but it's like obviously not mandated. So it's about like skiing etiquette, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. So that Google search did me well. And the second thing I saw that she is the defendant in this action, but then she also, I'm going to say this wrong, countersued.
No, you said it right.
Okay, perfect. I almost said cross because I was thinking about class, but it was countersued.
It's countersued. So she got sued. She filed a suit against
For
her.
a lot of money.
She got sued for a lot of money. Yes.
Oh, was the one she did back? Not a lot of money?
It's for $1.
Oh, I thought it was for. Oh, I must have saw her amount and got him.
Yeah. So he initially sued for over $3 million.
Yes, okay, that's what I saw. That's what
He
I was
sued
thinking
her
about.
initially. Now, the court, the
She's
judge,
dead to get $3 million.
or permanent injury, paralysis, usually permanent brain injury. Now, he is alleging traumatic brain injury.
Which, I mean, if true, is serious.
It is serious. He got cut back on his money. The judge, and I don't know why. This is what I'm trying to figure out, and hopefully next week I'll know. But I have not yet figured out why the judge reduced his damage claim to just about $300,000 instead of $3 million.
That's a.
But the judge reduced it.
Interesting.
Her countersuit, where she sued him,
Mm-hmm.
is saying, "You did this to me.
Right.
I had damage, but it wasn't that much. So we'll
So-
put a value of $1 because it was at least an inconvenience to me."
It's for the principle. Taylor Swift did something similar when she sued somebody for $1, but it was about proving a point.
Yeah. And she's asked for attorney's fees, that he's put her through all this.
Right.
So those are the competing lawsuits. And honestly, I'm surprised it's gotten to a trial.
Yeah, why didn't they settle?
I
Principle
don't
of the
know.
matter.
And it is at this point, probably for both of them, that it's been going on for 7 years. It probably is the principle of the thing. If at the end, what is the jury going to say? And whoever wins can say,
This is why I would be the worst client, because I would never settle. There's not a thing I would settle on, like, that I can ever think of. Absolutely
but
not.
it's not you.
But I'm saying if I was a plaintiff or defendant, like if I was a defendant, like she is.
I'm telling you, it's not about you. It's about your insurance company.
But can you be like, no?
Um,
Can you be like, no?
I mean, could, depending on your insurance company.
I feel like I would have to fight that fight myself, because I'd be like, absolutely not. Nope. I was not wrong. Nope. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the insurance companies are the defense representatives.
'Cause
Now,
you're
she
like
technically,
playing chicken until you get to trial, right? You're like, we're gonna go.
yeah.
I'd be like, send it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in this case, she's put herself in a different situation where her defense insurance company could not settle on her behalf because she's a plaintiff as
Okay, but
well.
also, sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt. What type of insurance would cover this?
Homeowners.
I'm sorry, that was dumb. How?
It's not dumb. Nobody knows. Because it's kind of a general liability against negligence for things that you do when you go away. So your car insurance covers you when you're driving, even if it's not your own car.
Right.
So your homeowner's insurance, depending, and it depends if they have an exclusion clause for specific types of incidents, but sometimes that follows you to these types of incidents where if you cause damage to somebody else or someone else causes damage to you, that you're covered under a homeowner's policy or umbrella insurance.
Sorry, I had no idea. I was like, wait. If you're not in a car, what insurance is involved?
These were skis.
But I did learn this. So you can get insurance for all kinds of things. I knew this because I've taken a lot of random classes in law school. One of them was hotel law. And so in that, I learned about that they get insurance for all kinds of things, including like for their employees, if they have insurance that specifically covers like sexual harassment, if a manager they hire harasses an employee. I didn't know that until last summer. But there's insurance for that. You want to know what else there's insurance for? I did not learn this in law school, but it's a real thing. You can buy insurance for the rapture, just in case.
Really?
Oh, I'm not kidding. Or alien abductions. There are people who essentially just create this because there's not a lot of regulation on like what insurance can cover. And so I heard about it on a true crime podcast. And it was like this cult that someone had sold every member of this cult like insurance in case aliens abducted them. I'm not kidding. Lucrative MLM right there.
I'm in the wrong job.
That's what I said. I was like,
preying on.
look, I'm just gonna tell everybody if the rapture happens, I'll adopt their pets and get them to like pay for this.
I would like to think that I would be taking it.
Look, I saw the movies Left Behind and I'm invested.
I didn't even watch that movie.
That's how you knew I grew up in Georgia, right?
Yeah. I watched the original one from the 70s.
They looked like they were from the 70s. And was there a remake?
No, that was Nicolas Cage, the one that you watched.
No.
It wasn't?
It was real old looking.
Are you sure? Ooh.
I feel like I mean, problem is all actors look the same to me. I'm pretty sure it's a really old one. It was on VHS.
Maybe you did see the same one that I
Look,
did.
small Southern Baptist church in Georgia. You never know.
Southern Baptist in Tennessee. Maybe it was the same
It
one.
really might have been. And I was like, honestly, this looks kind of fire. I'm invested.
There's the new one with Nicolas Cage.
New or seen.
It got a really low score on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that I think it was necessarily produced for entertainment value versus the actual idea behind it, but who knows?
So,
Anyway.
insurance salesman in the case of
Really getting off.
yes, I'm going to okay, but we'll go back to Gwyneth.
Yes, poor Gwyneth. So it is truly he said, she said.
Right. So how do you prove it?
Here's how. Now they both claim that the other ran into them.
Right.
He claims she ran into him from above. She says he was above me and ran into me.
Right.
What they're doing is this is a civil plaintiff's case.
Right.
So all you have to do is more likely than not. That's it.
Lower standard.
Low standard. Not probable cause.
Lower than that.
We're different than criminal. This is what's going to happen is it's going to be, if they truly cannot tell, if it's, I don't know, it is just as likely that she ran into him
Like
as
50-50.
it was. Yeah, if it's 50-50, it's a finding for the defense. It's an
Right.
immediate
It's a
finding.
wash.
But the question is, who's the defense?
Oh, because of the county.
Both defendants. So what the judge would do is say nobody gets anything.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins. Nobody.
You've wasted everybody's time.
So much time. Somebody's making money. But it is.
As of right now, nobody has gotten, neither of them have tested.
Not as of 3:45 Eastern Standard Time. It is currently a little after 5 Eastern Standard. And I think that he might have been taking the stand and might be on the stand while we're talking. Because we've got different, it's a time delay.
Is this a jury?
It is a jury. It's a full jury.
I mean, truthfully, what can happen is that a jury finds one of them.
That's the hope, right? The jury is going to have to say, based on what we're seeing, what they say, what the other witnesses say, and all of the evidence that we take in, who do we believe more? That is going to be their decision. And if they believe the optometrist who couldn't see anything, right?
That would be me. I'm sorry. This is why I don't drive, is because I can't see anything ever. I have no idea what's happening. I can barely see like us.
You should be wearing glasses.
I hate them though. I just hate having something in my face, but I also hate the idea of like touching my eye for like contacts. So I just would I'm scared of surgery. I'll just not see things. I'll guess.
Guess. Just gonna guess. So
everybody's
all they have to do, right? And all they have to do, right, in this case is 51%. Is like just a little more than 50%. Whoever they think is a little bit more than 50% is going to be who wins. You don't have to firmly believe or be convinced. They just have to think, well, it's more likely that happened.
Yeah.
For him, I think one of the most interesting pieces of his evidence has been an expert radiologist, I think.
Ooh, so like, that's the person who's an expert, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm sorry. I was like, you got it. Okay, great.
And that person is testifying as to, based on the injuries that he received, the fractures, the rib fractures, where they think the I want to say attack, but it's not attack, where the injury happened. So whether it was, as he is claiming, from behind and to his left, or as she is alleging, where he was running into her.
Right.
So that expert has testified based on where these injuries are, the nature of the injuries, the placement of the injuries, how the fractures occurred, that this is most consistent with her running into him.
I mean, as someone who doesn't know the slopes they were skiing on, who isn't obviously a medical person, I would think the person who got ran into would have more injuries.
And that's exactly what they're saying.
Like, to me, that's like, makes sense, right? Obviously, maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but maybe if the jury members are like me and they're like, common sense.
But that's what you bring, right? You bring your own experience and your own common sense to the hearing, and you're not supposed to put that aside.
Yeah.
And that's what they're banking on, is this expert is saying, look, the person who would be most injured is the person who would have been run into.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. And it would have been from up and to the left. And that's consistent with these patterns that are shown on his ribs. So this is the most likely thing that happened.
If whoever's coming from the top got cushioned on the legs.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely.
And it's like, she didn't have broken ribs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think he faked the rib injuries. I mean, I think something happened. I think he was injured. But the question is going to be, based on his expert, that's what the experts are saying for him. Will she have any experts for her that say the opposite?
Okay.
And if not, let's say he wins on the battle of the experts. Okay. Yeah. All right. Based on the expert testimony, they say, I don't really know. I've never skied or whatever. But they say this is most consistent with her having run into him. Okay, I find for him. But what are the damages? And this is where I think she might win.
Yeah, because that sounds like a lot.
Well, it was the $3 million, and
Like,
I'm really fascinated. 300 is a lot, but it's not a lot if it's a traumatic brain injury.
Okay, yes, okay, that's true. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the reduction.
I was thinking just about the rib breaks.
Oh.
And so I was like, because you've had some cases where things are, or I would even look at some of those pictures and they were not, I don't know. I forgot about the TBI.
They're not 3 million.
Yeah, I forgot about the TBI though, because that to me, oh my God, the thought of like not being able to think clearly again, like that breaks my heart for him. That's true, but I guess it does come down to the experts.
That is going to be interesting because those experts are the ones I'm watching.
Oh yeah, I'm tuned in.
They are the one. We are going to tune in, but what's happening with them is they are trying to testify as to what kind of traumatic brain injury it is. What are the symptoms of it? How does it manifest itself? And did he have any of those issues?
And if he did he lose income?
And
I would think, right? Like,
he's 76. Now, granted, it's 2023 versus 2016. So I don't know if he was still working at the time. I don't know whether he was still working at the time. And if so, how long he would have been working after that. He may have an allegation that I haven't seen yet as to if he retired early because of this injury and would have still been working. But I will tell you, the question in my mind is he really has a brain injury? Because he's 76. And the question for her doctors to testify about.
Is he just losing his, right?
He's just older. Not that I think that's tremendously old. My parents aren't quite that age, but they're getting older. And no matter what age, my parents are in great health and have complete mental control.
I was going to say, your dad is a genius.
He's absolutely genius and is not 76. So
let's sorry, I was not trying to imply this.
He's just super. He is over 70. Really? Yeah. Sorry, Dad. I just said on national television, so to speak, that you're over 70. So sorry. I love you, and you're brilliant and a genius.
Yeah.
I love you. But anyway,
let's just all reveal our parents' ages in the comments right now.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap this up soon. But anyway, the idea is her attorneys are going to have to use experts to say, look, he doesn't have a traumatic brain injury. He has old age. Or he has a pre-existing condition. Or he already had some form of dementia or something that was going to make it harder or have him have the same type of symptoms as you would have for a traumatic brain injury. Because he is definitely not saying he's had such a severe traumatic brain injury that he can no longer function.
Obviously, yeah.
It is more what I have read is that it's more almost like a post-concussive syndrome.
Mental clarity, sharpness.
Yes. Okay. Was he already not going to be as clear because he's 76?
You kind of just chalk it up to the game at that point.
Right. And that's what they're going to have to allege. But her attorney's going to have to say it.
But again, now I'm like switching sides. If what he is saying is true, I personally cannot think of anything worse to me than losing my ability to think clearly.
Absolutely.
And like I would.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like out of any physical thing that could happen to you, just losing your ability to like think clearly. Yeah. I'm giving 3 million. Give him 3 million.
Yeah. And fully agreed. Is if it truly is and if they prove it, then yes, then any amount of money that he puts in that the jury finds is reasonable, I fully agree with.
Okay.
Especially as a plaintiff's attorney, and let's not get me wrong, I'm playing devil's advocate, almost just in spite of myself, because of myself.
Yes.
Is I don't want to seem overly plaintiff friendly.
To me, it's not even about, just the thought of like, when I'm also like against the man and she's like this rich, I mean, he's rich too, obviously, like he's a doctor, but like just the thought of like losing your mental clarity is so scary to me.
It is. So I will leave you with this, and then we're going to end and toast you for today.
We're getting our notifications that we cannot stop talking, and so we got
sorry everybody. So my final thought that I'm going to leave us with is that one of the most interesting comments in the testimony so far has been when his daughter testified and was cross-examined by Gwyneth Paltrow's attorney. Is that
Gwyneth,
he, I know, like, yeah. Yeah, so the plaintiff, co-defendant, whatever,
whoever,
he wrote an email that same day to his daughter saying, "I'm now famous."
Okay, but that's something I would text my mom if I like saw a famous person is like, "Mom, I'm the next TikTok star. I got 37 likes." Right? Like
that's what his attorneys are going to have
I'm
to
pretty
argue.
sure I texted my mom that exact text, actually.
And that's the argument, is right now it doesn't look so good, where he's implying that this guy said, "I'm famous because I'm now going to be, I'm part of a celebrity and I'm going to take her down," versus what you're saying is there's going to have to be another side of it. No, I texted that as, "Wow, I did have a run-in with Gwyneth Paltrow and she ruined me." So
here, I said that in the email, but here's a selfie of me in the hospital with broken ribs. Like, be so for real.
Right. We're all famous now. So here's to your own personal fandom.
Yes.
Fandom, whatever. Your own personal fame. And to all of your success. Be safe out there this weekend. Thanks for joining us live as we're working through all of our kinks. Join us each week for happy hour on Fridays at the Legal Weekly Wine, because we do check out the hottest legal news of the week. Brought to you by Tehrani Law, because you never knew a lawyer
till you do. That was fun.
Yes, it is.